What's going on? It's Jim Alexander of Real Talker, and today we are talking and I'm reviewing, actually, I'm talking and reviewing Walker, CW's Walker new series. We're going to break it down all about it. Why should you see it? Was it entertaining? How did the actors do? What's the show about? We're going to have a breakdown of it all. So, coming up right now after this trailer and preview.
He requested the drone footage of the night that Emily died.
Tell them the gods come down.
You hear me when I say this. You will lose everything.
Walker, series premiere Thursday, January 21st. Stream free next day only on the CW app.
All right, so that looked pretty good, right? Walker, not Texas Ranger. That's going to be the big thing here, to try to separate yourself from thinking this is Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger. We'll delve into it. So let's get started with it. The show stars Jared Padalecki, of course, of Supernatural fame. Everyone who watches Supernatural knows him as Sam Winchester. He is not that in this show. He is Walker. Cordell Walker is the name exactly. So the plot of the show, and it's really illustrated well in the pilot episode, is that Cordell Walker is a sheriff. He returns to his town of Austin after being away for a while, after we learned right away really quickly that his wife was murdered. That kind of happens in the opening scenes, and he's trying to reconnect with his family. He's got two teenage children who are being raised by his mother, father, and his brother, Liam. I believe it's Liam. He's played by Keegan Allen. Yeah, it is Liam Walker. There you go. So he's coming back into this tough situation back in Austin. He has a new partner that he's working with, played by Lindsay Morgan. Mickey Rodriguez is, no, I got the name. Mickey Ramirez. Ramirez is her name, and she's this kind of a badass, tough Texan chick. She's kind of the smarts also. She's a smart one, kind of the smarter one, I guess, even though Cordell is smart himself, but she's got it all. She's got brains. She's got a tough attitude. She's someone who you'd want to have on the force as a partner to fight crime. But Walker here is navigating a lot of things because he's trying to reconnect with his kids who seem alienated from him since they've been being raised by their grandparents and by their uncle, and dad's been not around. You know, he's been away. They lost their mom, and here's Walker trying to deal with his kids and trying to reconnect with him, you know, being kind of an absentee dad. He's trying to piece together his life, but also figure out what really happened to his wife. There's a mystery concerning her death. Why was she killed? Why was it? Who did it? He's still looking for answers. And so there's that big gap inside of him. He's trying to not only come to terms with her death, but also figure out who did it and why. And then, of course, he's back in his hometown of Austin, just getting used to the location and being there. But then he's also new in town as a ranger, right? And he has now a new partner, played by Lindsay Morgan, Mickey, right? That we just spoke about. So there's a lot going on in Walker's life, especially in this pilot episode, that it kind of showcases. And that's the crux of the story. There's so much to it. So there's the mystery of his wife. There's the reconnecting with his kids and how will he connect with his new partner. So there's a lot to grasp here and to give to further episodes. There's a lot of meat on this. And the first episode really kind of lays out the setting. So that's what we're expecting going forward in a series. Now, the actors. Obviously, Jared is at the forefront. He's the star of the show. Lindsay Morgan is obviously also known to CW audiences. Obviously, she was in The 100. So that's a show that wrapped few years ago that's also been popular, and it's a big time CW show that was there. So two CW people reuniting together. It's always kind of the theme of CW shows. Keegan Allen is also going to be a big factor in the show, playing the brother Liam. He's fantastic. Odette Annable plays. We get a sense that there might be a romantic interest for Walker, and it's not his partner. I don't see anything that would lead them to be together. She's got a boyfriend or a fiance on the show anyway that we get to meet also. He seems like a fun character too. But Jerry is the character that's played by Odette Annable, and there's a hint that there might be something with her and Walker. They seem to be maybe former fling, potentially former lovers, maybe high school sweethearts. There's some kind of past. They get a scene together. She works at a bar as a bartender. He visits her. They have a little dance, and more to be seen for that. So Walker's back in town and might be rekindling some sort of a romance down the road too. But the acting's fantastic. I mean, this is a very different Jared Padalecki. This isn't Sam Winchester. So definitely that will have to be separated, because he is a different character. Walker's more subtle. He's more mature than Sam would be, Sam Winchester in that case. But this is a different side of Jared, and I love this role for him because he really shows a more dramatic side, a more serious side, a more mature side to him, and rightfully so, because he's more mature in age and in his presence in life than he was when he started Supernatural at a young age. So this is cool. I like this in a sense as a new challenge and a new look for Jared in what he can do on screen and in the TV world in that aspect too. And maybe it'll lead to some different movie roles too. So that's exciting part of it. So don't expect oh, wow, I can see Sam Winchester here. It's a very different character, and it's fitting for this show. I am going to really enjoy Lindsay Morgan's character. She seems kind of a hard ass, tough, but also has a sarcastic side. She's pretty blunt. She's tough. She's smart. That's what you want in a character like that, who's really well-rounded, and Lindsay Morgan delivers her charm and personality. So I'm excited to see what's in store for her, and the working relationship that will develop with Walker along the way. I think those two will be a great pair together on screen. Definitely Keegan Allen, he's a heck of an actor. For those of you that remember him as Tom Cavanaugh from Pretty Little Liars, he's on this show, and I think he fits in nicely with this cast. I think his relationship with Walker, well, they're both Walker technically, that's their last name, right? So but with Cordell is one that also is going to need some repairing, as you can kind of tell in the first episode that there might be some hurt feelings, burned bridges, but their brotherly love is also evident. So that'll be on display. That'll be a cool dynamic to kind of observe going forward between them. Odette Annable, fantastic actress too. I'm excited to see more of her. This is a good cast. The casting's really good, and the acting was really impressive actually for the first episode. Now, observations and takeaways. This is something that needs to be said early on. If you're thinking Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger, it's very different. It's not even a reboot any sense. The name Walker and the Texas Ranger aspect of it might be connected here, but otherwise there really isn't. This isn't a kung fu type of thing. Actually, Lindsay Morgan's character kicks more ass than Jared's in the first episode anyway. So that whole thing's going to have to be separated early on. If you're thinking this is like a reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger, and Jared's basically playing Chuck Norris, that's not the case at all. So that's something that's not a connection, and that aspect. And I, of course, coming into it, thought it might be, but it's not. And it's probably for a good thing too. So that's one big observation of it. Another thing was how dramatic this show was. It was really heartfelt. It was deeply rooted in family and feelings and this family dynamic, and of a father that's grieving and of kids that are longing for their father. It played like a movie in a sense, and like drama, more so than this kind of an action cop show or any sort of thing like that. That was secondary for sure, which I expected more kind of like fighting and action. And there's, I guess, one arrest scene or one scene they're kind of chasing some bad guys, but that's a very small portion of what at least this first episode was. And it was a lot about a man just trying to find his way in life and mend feelings and mend different relationships in so many ways. So I actually appreciated that. In turn, yes, it does feel a little slow. It's not as quick and fast paced as you'd expect it to be. It is kind of drawn out and slow. It's kind of slow pace, but I expect the show to pick up. That's only the pilot. And I think they did a right thing here by introducing all these characters and the relationships. They really set a lot in one episode of a platform on what this is going to be, and what's the show about, and what sort of different avenues this character has to deal with and tackle with and explore. So I like that aspect. Some people might be turned off that it's too slow for a pilot episode, but I'd say stay patient, give it a shot. I think there's going to be a lot more action down the road, and there's a hint that there's this cartel, and there's definitely going to be some bad guys coming along here that might tie into the disappearance initially and the ultimate death of Walker's wife, which also, on a side note, is that Walker's wife is played by his real life wife. So that's kind of cool too, that Jared's wife is on the show, even if it's in flashback scenes. That's kind of cool. That makes it legitimate in that way, that's his actual real wife and not just a wife on the show that being portrayed. So I like that little tidbit there that they did, and it's cool. Why not, right? Why not do that? It makes it more authentic in that way. Now, should you see this show? I kind of went into it. Yeah, definitely. I think it's entertaining enough. The first episode, like I said, was slower and more dramatic, and just kind of setting up the setting of what's going to be expected this season for Walker. And I actually appreciated that, instead of, because throwing a bunch of fight scenes or action scenes wouldn't do justice to where the show wants to go and what's going to be accomplished along the way. We know this is a Texas Ranger show. We know there's going to be some action. There's going to be bad guys. There's going to be crime fighting, but there's a lot more to the story that deals with the character specifically. And I like the fact that all the characters kind of get their own, not only story, but their own representation, right? It's not only about Cordell Walker and then everyone else is just far away supporting characters. I think they all play in to being important characters in his life, and they're individuals too that stand out. They have different personalities, and there's backstories to them. There's definitely going to be an interesting kind of maybe dynamic exploring what is Mickey's story too, and what makes her a good ranger, and why is she the way she is too, and why did they pair her up with Walker. So that'll be interesting to explore too. So I like how each character is really an individual, and there's going to be a lot of growth and potential for all of them from there. So that's exciting in that way too. So that'll be fun to explore. So definitely, I'd say check it out. It looks interesting and promising. Good acting for you CW fans out there, fans of a lot of the other shows. It's going to be cool to see some of your favorites reappear, in Lindsay Morgan, and of course Jared, for all you Supernatural fans too. So definitely a pleasant surprise, I'd say. This is a show to look out for. it surprised me the way it turned out to be. I didn't expect it to be what it was, but it's a pleasant and good surprise. So stay tuned and check out more of Walker on Thursday nights. The premiere is Thursday night, January 21st. So make sure you check it out on the CW. And that is my recap preview for Walker. And a little, maybe I'll give you, okay, before I leave, I'll give you a little bit of a prediction. I think this cartel that he's going to be chasing will definitely be tied into his wife's murder. I think a lot of this season is going to deal with that, with her murder and finding out who did it, and Walker trying to catch these bad guys. I think you will see a development between Jerry and Walker. And maybe by the end of the season, there might be some tease with Lindsay Morgan's character and Jared's character. Maybe there might be some romance potentially, but I don't see that until at least the end of the season, or maybe a following season, hopefully, if there is one. But right now, I think the key thing is going to be the relationship between Cordell and Liam. I think that's going to be something interesting to explore too, that brother dynamic. The relationship with the kids, that's going to be a developing thing over the season. I think you got a good hint of it in the first episode of them kind of slowly patching things up and going in the right direction. And of course, just figuring out who Walker is and why is he doing what he's doing, and why did he return to this town? Obviously, he has a family there and a lot of unfinished business, but where was he the past kind of couple of years? Why wasn't he raising his kids? So that's going to be another thing that's going to be worthy of exploring too. So I think we'll find out a lot more about that. And I guarantee you Walker's going to get in a fight or two along the way for sure. So there it is. Walker on the CW. Check it out. Premieres Thursday, January 21st. Check your local listenings. And if I had to grade it, I'm going to give you the grade of the show. In the article, you're going to see the breakdown, but I'd give it on a percentage-wise, off the top of my head, it might change a little bit, but I give it high marks. I think it's like in a high 70s, low 80% out of 100. So definitely intriguing, and maybe the only low point, if you can say that, is that it feels a little bit slow and a little bit dramatic for a TV show that's supposed to be about a Texas Ranger, right? But we'll see more. Give it a chance. I think it's good. So check it out. See ya.